Alright guys, what's going on? It's Kage, and welcome to today's video, where today I'm going to be going over an update to my premium timeleap deck profile for you guys. So, as a lot of you know, this deck has been, with me since the beginning of my Vanguard career, and I did an update on it about a year ago, before History Collection came out. But now that History Collection is here, I updated it again, and, it runs a lot better. I've gotten more, successes with it than I did before, and, yeah, let's jump into it. So, starting off, of course, our starter is Dran. It's your standard V starter skill. When wrote upon, draw a card. If you want sec, basically when your opponent's grade 1 or greater, get a quick shield. Standard V starter, you have to run Dran because of Mazer, but still, even if you had a choice, I'd still run Dran, just for thematical purposes. Alright, moving on. For the triggers, I'm running 4 Stride Crit. Basically, I love the Stride Crits because, so if you don't have a grade 3, you can obviously discard them to Stride. Not really much I have to say there. Then, I'm running 3 copies of Heart Thump Worker. So, with Heart Thump's errata, if you're going to notice this one, I'm still waiting on my 3rd History Collection one to come in. But Heart Thump basically lets you... It has its old skill of... when you're grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Chrono Jet's card name attacks, put it into the soul, draw a card. Choose one of your Vanguards that gets +5 until the end of the battle. But its new skill is, if it's revealed for a damage check, you can draw a card. So now we're running essentially 6 draws, which is, fine by me. More able to dig deeper into the deck. If you want to run this at 4, you could cut a Stride Crit, or you could cut Erbitar, but I would not recommend cutting Erbitar, just because it's a good card. 3 draw PGs, because we're running Elementaria. As I said earlier, a copy of Erbitar. Erbitar is part of the Elite 4 combo. This, when it's bound, you can just put it back into your deck, draw 2, put 1 back, and then it's just a recyclable trigger. 4 copies of the Heal Guards. Early game, this is nice to have to go up by 10 or cut our opponent's crits down. Also, if you have to ride it, you can, but usually you don't want to. Dark States OT. I know I say this in every premium video, but Bushy, for the love of God, please just ban the OT and Preem. It is no fun winning because of it. And then last but not least, I'm running a single copy of TikTok Worker. TikTok Worker is essentially here because it's, again, part of the Elite 4 combo, and it's timeleap. So that is it for the grade 0s. Now then, moving on to the grade 1s. As I had hinted at, I am running 4 copies of Mazer Gear Dragon. So this is basically to get the crest. You don't have to run this if you don't want to, or if it's too expensive. I haven't looked at Mazer Gear prices lately, but I know when I did, it was like ridiculous how much it was. So you can, if you only have 1, you can run 1 and then 3 copies like Chrono Tooth, or you can run Time Break or another grade 1 of your choosing. But I really like running 4 Mazer because this ups my chances to get the crest, which Basically, the only thing we're worried about from the crest is it gives our jet 13, and it also basically just gives +5 for each face-up card in the G zone. Alright, next I am running 4 copies of Lost Gear Dog 8. So this is a one place on Vanarrier, reveal a grade 3, search your deck for a grade 3, and then you're able to, you discard a card, and then this can also be discarded for a grade 3. So basically this is a better version of G-era Steam Breath, and this helps us get to our Chronojet Dragon to get into our Lost stage, get the 2 forces. Then I'm still running 2 copies of Tickaway Dragon. So it's a GB1. When a unit is placed due to time leap, you can choose a card and put it on the bottom of the deck. So this can recycle triggers. This can basically help you dig, or not dig, but this just helps you recycle your important pieces. And when I was going through the deck, one of my friends was helping me update it, and they're like, well, why don't you cut this, because it's a win more card. And when we played a game and Tickaway came up, it was shown why I keep it in the deck. Then I'm running 2 copies of Mellum. Again, Mellum is part of the Elite Four and is a way to get us to like our Erbitar or our TikTok worker, and can just enable some shenanigans with Time Leap. Then I'm running a single copy of Causality Dragon. Basically, this just gives something Time Leap. That's the only reason I really run it. And then Elementaria. It's just a free PG when your opponent strides. Alright, now then, moving on to the grade 2s. I am running 4 copies of History Maker. This is just like standard. This is, I feel like, for History Makers is a, like a must run 4 of in any Time Leap deck. Basically, GB1, when it attacks, counterblast 1, Time Leap something. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but really good. Then I'm playing 3 copies of Twice Talented Gearhound. So this is a GB1. 1 year drive check reveals a grade 3, Time Leap it. So it's really nice on your Lost stage turn. If you reveal a grade 3 in your drive check, you can Time Leap it away, and it also has resist, so it's nice against like certain matchups where they're trying to or trying to mess with your rear guards, and this card just says, yeah, no, sorry, you can't do anything to me. Then I am running 2 copies of Delayed Blazer. So I cut this down from 3 to 2 just because I felt like 3 was a little bit too much in my testing. So basically, one place due to Time Leap, it gets +2, and then you can Time Leap another grade 2 when it's placed. And then, last but not least, I am running 2 copies of Steam Skara Urkob. So this has a skill that's Act Van over your counterblast 1, discard a card, and then your Vanguard gets drive +1, so you can make your triple drive a quad drive. And if you have a Vanguard like next stage, that lets you what's it called? Actually, I'm not sure about that ruling, never mind. But this is also another one where you can discard it as a grade 3. And yeah, that is it for the grade 2s. Now moving on to the grade 3s. Our main grade 3 ride from turn 4 and on is still Chrono Jet Dragon G. This is still our main Vanguard we want to sit on because of its time leap keyword, which just goes up when we have history build face up. But the main grade 3 we want to ride first is OG Jet. And the reason why is obviously because of Lost Age. So, the OG Jet, if you saw the standard Chrono Jet deck set, then you know what this does. But for the people who don't, it has a GB2 guard restrict, and then it also has when something strides on it, counterblast 1 and spin one of your opponent's units to the bottom of the deck. This is like what old Gears did, was focused around bottom decking stuff. But yeah, that is it for the main deck. Now moving on to the G Zone. I'm running 2 copies of Lost Age. So Lost Age is basically always going to be your first stride, like always. Basically, flip. You can stride it when you first go to grade 3, and then but you have to be on Chrono Jet Dragon. That's important to remember. So if you go on to like Chrono Jet Dragon G, you can't stride it. But basically, as long as you didn't get a force, you can flip it, and then you get 2 forces. So most times you're gonna go force 1. You can go force 2 if you want to, but what I found is usually force 1 is the better option. And then its on hit skill is you spin something to the opponent to the bottom of the opponent's deck, and the on hit will always activate. Then I'm playing a single copy of Chrono Dragon Next Stage from the G era and from the Overdress era. Mostly because I personally like it and it does come up sometimes. I'm really still thinking about putting this back to G Jet. But if you happen to have a Chrono Jet Dragon in hand, you can stride into this, and then it's you only discard 2 instead of 3. That's like the only reason I'm running it, but it's situational at best. I don't really find myself going into next stage that often. Then I'm running 2 copies of Gear Groovy. This basically just copies face-up G units and, lets you get away with a lot of shenaniganry. I'm still playing 3 copies of History Build. I was playing 4, but I cut it down to 3. Basically, this just lets you time leap and gives things, when it's face up, it gives time leap units +3 for each face up. And then a new addition to the deck is 2 copies of Highbrow Steam Shalishma. Essentially, the reason I run this card is its face-up G-Zone effect of Soul Blast 1. At the end of the battle that a grade 3 rearguard attacked, bind it. You bind the unit, and then you call this the rearguard. This just helps you get more attacks. This is like a 25k beat stick because it's 15, then 10 from the Force 1. So yeah, really, it is nice. Alright, moving on to the G guards. I'm running 2 copies of Hetero Round. Basically, this is just, I'm not going to call it Denial Griffin, but if you have, if your opponent has a rearguard with a lot of, power on it and some stupid crazy effect, you can get rid of it. as I drop my G zone. Give me just a moment. Alright, there we go. Then I'm playing Rafana. Just a good, G guard. And then this one came out in a revival selection. I really like it, which is Bearlock. So the main reason I play this is because you don't have to discard a heal. You can actually bind rear guards, and then this gets shield equal to the number of units bound for its calling. So even if you don't have a heal, you still have access to a G guard. And then, of course, last but not least, Time Minute of Eternity. And yeah, that is it. I hope you guys have enjoyed. As I've said before, this deck is one of my favorite decks that I've played. And it's, I feel like it's a fun deck, especially like if you're trying to learn, teach someone Vanguard. This deck is not impossible to learn with. I mean, I feel like I could hand this to somebody and within a few games they'll understand how to play. But yeah, until the next video, I will catch you guys later. See ya.